What if the person you trusted most, your own wife, tried to strip away everything you built, and you turned the tables with a single signature she never thought would matter? My name is Jonathan Reed. I'm 46, and this is the story of how my wife walked into divorce court expecting millions, only to walk out broke, humiliated, and buried in debt. The courtroom was packed that morning in Nashville. Reporters filled the back row, spectators leaned forward, and my soon-to-be ex-wife, Melissa, sat across from me with that same smug smile she'd worn for months. She thought she'd already won. She wore a designer dress I'd bought, heels clicking like a countdown to my ruin. Her attorney stood tall and declared, "My client is entitled to half of everything, including Mr. Reed's inheritance." Gasps swept through the room. To everyone else, it looked like Melissa was about to strike gold. But I knew something no one else did. 7 years earlier, I met Melissa at a corporate gala. I was exhausted, running my own company, and mourning my father's passing. She was magnetic, charming, confident, and she seemed to know exactly how to pull me in. Weekend getaways, expensive gifts, constant admiration. She said yes to marriage within a year. At first, I thought I'd found my partner for life, but my lawyer pushed for a prenuptial agreement. At the time, I worried it might offend her. To my surprise, she waved it off with a laugh. "Of course, Jonathan. I love you, not your money." She signed it without hesitation. That moment would later save everything I had. 2 years into the marriage, I received my father's estate, nearly $4 million. Melissa's reaction told me the truth. Her eyes widened, and she whispered, "Jonathan, we're rich." From then on, she quit working. She burned through money like it was endless: designer clothes, luxury cars, failed investments, private clubs. Anytime I questioned her spending, she'd snap, "It's ours, not just yours." But the breaking point came when I found messages between her and her attorney, discussing when to file for divorce to maximize her payout. So I filed first. Now, in court, Melissa leaned back with a satisfied smirk as her lawyer demanded half my inheritance. Reporters scribbled furiously, and all eyes turned to me when the judge asked, "Mr. Reed, do you have a response?" My pulse pounded, but my hands were steady. I pulled an envelope from my briefcase and said, "Yes, Your Honor. The court should see this." I handed over the prenuptial agreement. The room froze. Melissa's face twisted. Her attorney stammered, "Your Honor, we weren't made aware of any prenuptial agreement." The judge flipped through the pages, calm but sharp. Then she looked up and said, "This document is valid, binding, and enforceable." Melissa's smugness evaporated. She whispered frantically to her lawyer, but there was no escape. Every clause was crystal clear: premarital assets remained separate, inheritances untouchable, no spousal support, no loopholes. Melissa had signed it all. She tried to argue she didn't fully understand. The judge cut her off. "So, Mrs. Reed, you signed a legal contract without reading it, and now expect this court to disregard it?" The reporters stopped writing. Spectators leaned forward. Melissa's plan was crumbling in front of everyone. Finally, the judge delivered her ruling. "Mrs. Reed, you are entitled to nothing. Not the inheritance. Not the assets. And you are solely responsible for the debts you've accumulated." The courtroom buzzed with shock. Melissa's grand scheme had collapsed into humiliation and ruin. As I walked out of that courtroom, I felt a freedom I hadn't felt in years. She lost everything. I kept my father's legacy safe, and gained back my peace.